It's Final Friday.
We have time for one more follow tonight, and I want to finish with a fun one. Kara, I asked you for someone who makes you laugh, and you said Samantha Bee, who the host of Full Frontal on TBS. Mm-hmm. She's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Full Frontal Sam B, and B is just the letter B.
Yeah.
So how long have you been following her work? Like since The Daily Show? Or?
Since The Daily Show. I thought she pioneered a lot of that stuff. Jordan Klepper does what she did for years and stuff. I think I just interviewed her on stage in New York. Mm-hmm. That's the first time she went out in public since the pandemic. She sort of was like, ooh, people. It was fun. We did it at Little Island. It was an outdoor space in New York. Go see it if you're in New York. It's like the High Line. It's the same. Barry Diller did it. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful space on the Hudson. And she is just as funny as ever. I don't think she's gotten her due. You know, you have all these others. So I don't begrudge, Jimmy. Oh, I don't like that guy.
Which Jimmy? You got to be specific. There's too many Jimmys.
There used to be heavier one. What's his name?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Kimmel, right, yeah. He's very funny. Yeah. I think Colbert is very funny. I think John Oliver is brilliant. I think Jon Stewart is brilliant. They're not unbrilliant. You know what I mean?
Hey, wait, we have James Corden, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, nice. John Oliver.
I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Fallon. Yeah. But I remember there was a big... enough. I like his singing in the cars or whatever.
Yeah.
But she's much more talented, at least 2/3 of them. Mm-hmm. And she never got her due. And I think if you go back and look at her stuff on The Daily Show, boy, is it good. And I thought she has a real point of view on TBS. It's not as big, and so it doesn't get as much attention. Some of her stuff is just brilliant, really great. We did an amazing... It's going to appear as a Sway episode, I think, next week. Mm-hmm. I think we have Beto for Monday. Mm-hmm. I think we have Sam B after that, I believe. And she's great. Even when I interviewed her for Recode, as you recall, right after she called Ivanka Trump that name, and which she repeated on stage last week, except she spelled it, and it was very funny, and she doesn't regret it. And so I think she's just taken a lot of risks and probably deserved more attention than she got. And so I think she's very wry and funny, and I just think she makes me, every time I see something, she makes me laugh. And it's again, makes me think, which is not... And she also takes her lumps. I mean, that Eric Schneiderman thing she did was such a disaster.
What happened there? I don't remember.
She did something, called him a hero, and then it turns out he, strangles people during sex. I don't know. Remember that? He had to leave. It was another New York politician sex scandal. It's like a list of sex scandals for New York politicians, and you're like, whoa.
I cannot keep them straight, yeah.
No.
But no,
by the way, I was never a homosexual.
Good to get that on the record. Yeah. But no, to your point earlier, I mean, I remember when Full Frontal was just launching, there was a big magazine spread all about, the new late night comedy, and it was all the dudes, no Sam B. And so I think what she did, if I remember correctly, is she photoshopped herself in as a centaur shooting laser beams out of its eyes, something like that, just into this magazine spread.
Yeah, she's very funny in it. I just interviewed Chelsea Handler, too, and she's coming to Code also, and I thought she's sort of taken a very interesting turn in her comedy. It's she started a weed company and a bunch of other things, but
her and John Boehner.
Her recent show, which she did in New York, was really quite moving. It was about her brother died suddenly and how it shifted her family. I thought it was incredibly effective comedy. She's sort of going that Hannah Gadsby route, I guess, but she's I thought hers. She always sort of did the, shock jock kind of stuff. But her new stuff is really interesting to me. Mm-hmm. So I like her, too.
So back to Sam B.
I love Wanda Sykes, by the way, also.
There's too many comedians, too many good ones. We're going to get a good golden age, Oh. What's the biggest difference between the Sam B who's on Full Frontal, and you've met her many times, and Sam B in real life? What would you say is the biggest difference there?
She's very shy, typical. She's very shy. I think she's surprised by attention. Mm-hmm. She's certainly not an egomaniac by any stretch. She spends a lot. She devotes a lot of her time to her family. She's not sort of a rapacious, aggressive person you might expect from someone in that. I would say she has a happy family life, but I think a lot of comedians don't. Comics don't. I think she's lovely. I find her to be lovely. She was very scared during that Ivanka Trump thing.
I bet.
Because she got attacked rather significantly. She had a bodyguard, etc. Same thing with Kathy Griffin, who I like. I did a great interview with her. That was fantastic. interview. And Kathy's a controversial figure, but the kind of stuff she endured because of a stupid joke, a tasteless joke, was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like her.
Yeah.
She's very funny.
So yeah, you mentioned Wanda Sykes. You mentioned other comedians that you like. I mean, what do you think separates Sam Bee? Like why would you pick her above the others? Like, what do you think is the thing that most distinguishes her as one of the best comedians working today?
Oh, I like them all. I probably was just thinking of her because I was doing a lot of watching of her at the time. But I like a lot of them. I did a really great interview with Sacha Baron Cohen, who I think is brilliant. What an interesting mind he has.
Yeah.
I think comics are really leading the way on social commentary and pushing boundaries that need to be pushed. I'm excited to see what Jon Stewart does. I think that's going to be.
Oh, yeah, he's got the new show coming out. Yeah, yeah.
On Apple.
Yeah.
I think it's really. I think streaming's been really fascinating. It sort of raised the especially Netflix has led the way in terms of getting all the others to start to really program in really fascinating ways. So I think comics, once John Oliver manages to do more than, I can't watch cable anymore. I can't. Even the stuff I agree with, I'm sort of like, I did an interview with Don Lemon. We had an argument about it. I was like, stop crying about it's so ridiculous, performative bullshit. And, I would obviously be more politically affiliated with him, but I don't think it does anyone any good to create these sides that are just reductive and twitchy and angry. They're not complex, and people are complex, except for, the anti-vaxxers, and they can go. So.
For the audio listeners, Kara just made a rude gesture with her hand.
Yeah. Honestly.
Well, that was Samantha Bee, who's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Full Frontal Sam Bee.